This time on the show, locking down your PC with proximity and a little bit of Bluetooth magic. I'll be showing you how. Then, what's the IEEE on about these days? Darren reports from South by Southwest, plus reversing cat without SED, more fun bash tips, and VPN security. Who do you trust? All that and more, this time on hak5. This episode of hak5 is brought to you by Domain.com, The Ben Heck Show, and Netflix.
Hello and welcome to hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
This is your weekly dose of Technolust.
And it's delicious.
It is.
Tastes like tacos and tomatoes.
You've been
and
hanging out at the
cheese.
taco truck again, haven't you?
Have.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I see where this
so
is
what's
going.
Up? How was South by Southwest?
You mean South by, right? No, I'm joking.
Oh, please.
You
sound like those hipsters.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a hipster con. It was not a hacker con.
No.
And like my talk was called, what was it, Wi-Fi ownage or Wi-Fi
How
hacking?
to own everybody at South by Southwest?
Pretty much. It should have been called that because Wi-Fi hacking in a target-rich environment, something like that.
Okay.
Very similar to the title of the workshop that we'll be doing at Noisebridge on the 30th. But
what's the link for that?
hak5.org/workshop.
hak5.org/workshop.
Yes,
Awesome.
but South by Southwest was fun just in that, cool people were there. Colleen was there, Dual Core was there.
Oh, cool.
Well, 80 of Dual Core.
Yeah.
Unfortunately not C64, but go Manchester. And Chris from DoD.net. So we're going to have some awesome segments from that later because we ended up coding for the second half of the con.
Don't you always? You go to a convention, it's just like, oh, let me get on my computer for
and
24
everybody
hours.
has been asking me when are we going to publish the the talk that I did. They are pretty I don't know.
What, are they stringent
They're pretty strict about that kind of stuff. I wasn't actually allowed to record my own talk, but they did, and it comes out as an audio podcast, and then I will be publishing my slides, and I'm going to see if I can kind of work together some sort of syncing them together.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of fun, there's that magnetic evil Wi-Fi pineapple enclosure of Doom.
Right,
I had it connected to the side of an ATM.
Oh my God, did you really?
And get this,
Awesome.
It was so much fun. So I'm putting it in different places around the con, just taking some photos of it and stuff. And I put this on this ATM, and I'm taking a photo of it. This guy walks up to me, he's doing his business, and I'm just like, I kind of need to move on here. So I go up and I'm like, excuse me. And he's like, going through his mind, he's like, oh, pardon me, no problem whatsoever. And I come up and I just grab this big chunk of metal off the side of the machine and I'm like, boom.
Awesome.
And when I pull it off of it, it's it makes this big, hollow boom. And his eyes just and I'm like, excuse me. And I just walk off and there's
oh my God. So you go to a hacker con and it's like, oh, but that's pretty
normal. Yeah. Oh, what, did you just pull your, yes, I did. Yeah.
You go to South by Southwest, you freak everybody out.
Yeah. So I'm really stoked about, well, I guess we'll talk about it in the following week because Chris and Adie and I pretty much spent some time coding up some good stuff, and it's called, what is the name of the project again?
Hack all the things.
Yeah, it's Hack All the Things, Drink All the Booze, and Kill All the Humans, the new 3 laws of
that
robotics.
Makes sense.
Take that,
right.
Isaac.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
It
I love
does.
it.
Yes.
Very informative. So today I have some awesome Bluetooth software that I'm checking out. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Bluetoothy.
Bluetooth. I've never really messed with Bluetooth.
You know what? I've been rocking the Bluetooth a lot lately. I don't know if you noticed this, if Paul's shot is wide enough, but Paul, get this. You want to get in wide on this?
Yeah,
you know what? I'll look at you rocking your little 11-inch. I'm now rocking my 5.3 with the Bluetooth, and check that out.
How can
I'm in
you
my
deal
shell.
with that screen though? It's so small.
I love this thing. It's so great.
Now I understand why you decided to get the phablet.
It's not a phablet. There's no fapping with the phablet. I'm just it's a tablet phone and wallet and now
you just keep telling
terminal.
yourself that.
So.
I'm gonna stick with my laptop and my new iPad whenever that
How do you
comes
pronounce
out.
it again?
Shut up. God, everybody makes fun of me for that. Whatever.
You can take
say
the,
tomato,
you
I
can
say
take
tomato.
the girl out of Missouri, but you can't take the Missouri out of the girl.
Exactly. I'm going to say
Which is a snow
laptop
clone.
for the rest of my life. You can deal with it. 3 snaps, information around the world, and back snap. What?
Is this something about
Don't worry about
goat
it.
cheese
We have a gift.
again?
What? Oh! Don't make me regulate my Get-a-5, Pustabify, Yugoslavian government, goat cheese, Wu-Tang. What? Let me get the gift.
Help me.
That's pretty much the fastest I will ever talk. Okay, so we have...
We need you to do a duet with Dualcore now.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
Whoa, no, is this a Rio? Oh my God, it is a Rio. Paul, check this out.
This is from Bill God.
Oh, it even has the...
Bill God.
Dude, look at this. It even has the parallel injector.
Oh, he's the one that sent the pictures of the dinosaurs built out of circuit boards.
Oh, wow, that's
This
so
guy.
cool.
So he said,
Dude.
I'm sending you my original Diamond Rio. I purchased this MP3 back in '98 for about $200. 32 megs on board and has an external port for another 32 meg media card, which I have lost over the years.
Oh.
It works off parallel port. Took about 30 minutes to copy 15 songs.
Oh, dude. I used to have a digital camera that had the slot. This thing is, I wish I could find the thing. It's ridiculous.
That's nuts.
This is going up there, man. When we would do the, yes.
Isn't that hilarious?
Wow, that is so cool. You could have 64 megabytes. That's like almost an entire album.
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
That's so cool.
And I love the parallel port thing. This thing was god-awfully slow.
Yeah.
I love how it just like injects it in there. Dude, this is fantastic. You know, this is like hardware that like you could just build right now because it's just pin for pin.
You know, yeah, you really
wow.
could. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you. And I love it. Great gifts from fans.
Me too.
I brought us a gift from South by Southwest.
Did you?
Yes.
What's the gift?
In the form of an interview with IEEE.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Well, we've got the great pleasure of getting some more IEEE folks on. We've got Jay Iorio, is that how you pronounce it? Iorio. And Edward Rashba? Rashba. And so what do you guys do at IEEE?
So I'm working with new companies and technologies and trying to figure out what it is that will help industry, government, and other constituents to realize their objectives, and really based around things like collaboration, standards, and putting some models in place that help them get their work done.
And you?
I work in emerging technologies, and my particular area of interest is virtual worlds, 3D, and it's getting wider and wider. Digital cinema, interactive television, games, and so forth. And right now I'm trying to putting together a group of experts in those different fields, and in effect creating a community where I don't think there was one before. Basically, I see a lot of underlying technological similarities among these groups, and they have similar problems. And so I'm putting them together and seeing how the IEEE could sort of further those technologies.
Are there already sets of specifications and standards for those sorts of things? Because I'm not familiar with any for. I mean, last thing I heard as far as VR was concerned was VRML.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There are some things, but they tend to be siloed, and a lot of these groups don't talk to each other. I think the real insight that's animating this project is that these people have more in common than they think they do. And some of the three-dimensional, like 3D issues of objects and various coding issues are not really addressed by any of the existing standards. There are standards that address specific pieces, but no sort of overarching thing. I should say that the real goal of this group immediately is not to create standards, because a lot of these technologies haven't really gelled yet. But there are a lot of other things that the IEEE can do, given its sort of interdisciplinary nature and its clout. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to sort of combine the clout with a very innovative way of thinking and community creation, really. So not everything we do is standards. It's creating a sort of technology salon in a way, not to use the wrong word, but basically getting experts to talk.
And so, as the director of new business ventures, what does that mean for you as far as, see, I think, like we were just mentioning, standards, and I guess there's so much more to IEEE that I don't see. So what are some of those other things that I'm not seeing?
Yes, and not only to IEEE, but to the standards part of IEEE. In fact, probably building on what Jay was saying about bringing groups together, it's clear that the technology is not always at the point where a formal standard is the need. And so part of what I've been working on is kind of retooling the model. How do we engage these communities early on? And we put some tools in place. For example, there's an industry connections program, and there, for example, the antivirus groups, companies are getting together with the software packer community to try to figure out, well, how do we stop malware from coming into packed software? And so the output of that group is developing, on one hand, white papers, but also an entire software library. So you can know who the good guys and who the bad guys are, and a tagging system that is able to provide this traceability. So it's not at all standard, but it's a consensus output from a community.
And so how did you guys get involved with IEEE initially?
Going back that far, you've got seniority, sir.
That's hard to remember. I originally came in as from the publishing side of things, and I was an editor for a long time. And the first thing I did really at the IEEE was to use some sort of redo the publishing system, and that was quite a while ago. We were using SGML, if that rings a bell, is sort of the predecessor to XML, or a parent of it. We're trying to basically turn all of our content into a structured database, and this was quite a while ago. And that process is still going on with other people doing it, and it's a long-term process. And I got involved with virtual worlds probably, well, before Second Life happened. I was working with QuickTime VR and mocking up experimental websites and things like that that were immersive, where you could actually walk through and use what we all instinctively know about architecture as sort of the governing, like a shifter with a gate, so that basically the cues that we all intuitively know about architecture would serve as a way to structure the content. And so that was the premise of a lot of what I've been doing, and that's sort of how I got into this, is basically using, rethinking information in 3 dimensions.
And you?
So I came at IEEE from a different perspective. I was running startups in the telecom space and was looking for something new to do and to leverage what I knew about technology, which was relatively little compared to the education I've gotten over time at IEEE. And looking, for example, some of the projects now that I've been working on, like, for example, the Power Matters Alliance, which just launched last week, which is looking to bring intelligence to wireless power, dealing with energy efficiency issues. There you have the Hollywood studios collaborating with utilities and others who are dealing on the technology and wireless charging to enable whole new areas. One of the kind of the messages for South by Southwest is we have a lot of great people working on innovations across probably a broader spectrum than anywhere else, and bringing Maiwa Denki with together Dean Kamen kind of highlights what it is that IEEE stands for, which is a lot of really innovative work going on, and helping to move these. We'd like folks to know that IEEE is a place where those next innovations can be worked on.
It doesn't matter whether you're in the shower or hanging out with friends or showering with your friends. When a killer idea hits you, you need to snag your domain fast. And with domain.com's simple search and checkout process, you're gonna have that domain in like no time. Plus, when you're ready to take the next step, domain.com has rock solid hosting infrastructure to create a perfect foundation for your project. And get this, the guys over at domain.com, they're huge hak5 fans. They want to hook you up, so they've got a coupon code just for us. It's HAK5 at checkout, gets you 15% off. So when you think domains, think domain.com.
So I can remember years ago going to the Consumer Electronics Show and seeing all of these different vendors showing off different emerging wireless charging systems, all of them using like induction charging, like PowerMap, one of them. And one of the things that I always asked was, you know, what's the standard behind this? And of course, they all have their own standard. And so I think, you know, unless it's coming from IEEE or ISO, it's really not something I'm that interested in. And here you're talking about forming consortiums and associations and alliances. And is that the typical way that standards form with new technologies? Or like Wi-Fi, like the Wi-Fi Alliance coming after 802.11, is that the typical way? How do these things, how are these things typically born?
So typically on some of these fast-moving technologies, you'd have a group of companies that gets together, you know, writes a set of agreements about how they're going to work together and collaborate and share IP, and they launch an industry initiative. And one of the reasons for doing so is the perception that it's going to be quicker, that it's going to, you know, the time to market is going to be there. They're not kind of fettered with this.
No one's going to win otherwise, yeah.
However, I think I've seen an evolution in thinking where, you know, companies see IEEE and more formal bodies like IEEE as a place to actually develop a standard that is, you know, going to build faith in the marketplace and is going to be able to be adopted globally. You know, one standard, one technology, one standard being the, you know, the optimal way of going, and certainly for the consumers and everyone else involved, you know, there's the benefits of having a single standard. Whereas companies might have, you know, taken that informal role, your own approach, and tried to do it their way, I think they're seeing more and more that IEEE is a place to do that work.
What I'm doing, for example, and what a lot of the emerging technology people are doing is really creating a new community that might not think it needs standards at this point, that might not even see the commonality of their interests. But if you put them together and get them to talk, sometimes the most interesting insights come from people who are not expert in that particular field. You know, they're not as bound by the assumptions. But if you get them all talking, I kind of am interested in what they think, you know, in terms of standardizations. How you know, the IEEE can do a lot of things for them, and standards is one of them. But I think it's a whole spectrum of activities, and it depends. You know, with virtual worlds, half the people you talk to are going to say there's no need for standards, they're not ready, it'll be 10 years, if not 100 years, you know, this is... but on the other hand, you've got augmented reality, which is right on the edge, and they're related. So is virtual reality, so is computer-generated cinema, and games really incorporate all of those modalities to get the point across.
And how have you found the reception of the companies that you've approached in the VR space, or the augmented reality space?
We had a meeting last year, an unconference. It was at, we held it at Sony Pictures, at the studios in LA. And it was a group of, sort of a predecessor of the group that I'm putting together now. They were a lot of virtual reality people, from everything from artists to the military, people who never get together, and a number of people who've done heavy work on computer-generated cinema, a lot of games people. And we got them all together, and this was the first time they actually hung out with each other, and it was very interesting to see, you know, what happened. So when I talked about putting together a group to go wherever you all think we should go, you know, but to get the IEEE, use the IEEE resources to help this happen, I've gotten a lot of enthusiasm. I've got about 30 people in this group now from all over the world, and they're kind of, they like the idea of sort of combining Hollywood with Silicon Valley in a way, you know, making California a little smaller, you know, realizing that there are commonalities that they hadn't exploited yet. So, you know, they're pretty enthusiastic.
And so do those people end up rolling into the organization, or how does the organization bring in new talent and new minds and whatnot?
I think through doing things like this, a lot of the people who are participating in this here, IEEE, they have old associations with it, and they think this isn't a power plant, this isn't a this, this isn't standardizable at this point, and they see it as too rigid a mechanism. But once I tell them sort of the spectrum of things that we can do, and that we're really very sensitive to the stage of development of a technology, they were into it. Plus, a lot of them are very, very idealistic people. They really are committed to making things better and improving the world, and that's really a big piece of our mission. So when I express it in those terms, isn't it going to be amazing when X, Y, Z? That's when I really see the engagement in their eyes. They see that this is a way to leverage their talent and work so that everybody can benefit. So that's how I'm doing it. I think everybody has a different way of going about it. Edward has a different way.
Yeah, it sounds like you both have fell into the organization in much different ways, and so I'm wondering, what is it that a young person, maybe like a CS student or something like that, somebody that's passionate about these technologies, how they get involved with the organization.
I was at a VR conference in Costa Mesa last week, and there were a lot of young people there, a lot of undergrads, and so I had a lot of good conversations with them, and a few of them are going to be participating, I hope. People who might not have thought of this as an outlet, but once we talked for a while, they got really into it, and I feel like I made a good connection with a lot of them. I think it's a natural place for young people to be because they're excited, they're motivated, they're focused, and they have a lot of talent that isn't taken advantage of, and it should be. Also, they come up with the freshest insights sometimes.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them to maybe get to work with folks like a Dean Kamen, someone who's really also carried over that enthusiasm of youth and actually been able to make their imprint. And I think it's a really terrific environment for that type of mentoring, and when you have a common goal, be it any of the outputs that or activities that Jay's been talking about, or more formal, it is an opportunity for them to indeed, I would say, bring in those fresh insights and marry that with the experience. And you're looking at these challenges that stand before us, be it smart grid or cloud. How do you realize you need to bring together these diverse communities? I think it skews both from the technology side, but also the demographic side. And I think we're making some progress, as Jay's saying. It's kind of the younger, enthusiastic, engaged folks, and we're meeting and talking to as many as we can here at South by Southwest.
That's so great. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, Edward, Jay. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Do you want your computer to lock up every time you leave your desk? Or perhaps you're like me and you always forget to lock your Windows desktop when you leave for work in the morning and you have your PC open to anybody in the household. I do that all the time, yeah. Here's something to help. It's from SourceForge. It's this freeware called the Bluetooth Proximity Lock Utility, and its name says it all. It's a utility that locks your computer via Bluetooth once you leave the proximity of your PC. All right, pretty easy to get. First off, you need to download the .exe and install it on your Bluetooth-enabled computer, and I'll have the link in the show notes. You open BT Prox and you click the button right next to Use Device. Now, you should already have Bluetooth cut on whatever you're going to use, whether that be a Bluetooth mouse or your cell phone, although it would look kind of funny if you were walking away from your desk with a Bluetooth mouse, wouldn't it? That'd be kind of obvious. So you turn on your Bluetooth, like so. All right, Bluetooth on, and then you click the three little buttons right here, three little dots. And it should see, ooh, look, there's a desktop computer. Cool. That's not mine. So you click on Snub's iPhone, or whatever you have. Click OK. And then the next piece down here is timeout. And you can choose how many minutes you want it to wait until it times out after you have left the proximity. So say my proximity for my phone and my Bluetooth connection to my laptop would be 30 feet or so. After that time, I leave that 30-foot range. It'll give me 1 minute to, get back to it before it'll actually lock it. So you can change that to anything higher than that. It can't go any lower than 1 minute, which is kind of a bummer. I wish it would. Well, maybe I can set it to 0 minutes. Let's see what happens. Then you also have some choices down here. Lock command, you can put it in some kind of bash file or a script and have it run that after you lock it. You can also do the same thing for a release command. And then you click start or stop, hide and exit. So I'm going to click start. So the next thing you're going to notice when you have this running is it's going to give you a little bubble down in the corner like my computer has here. Next to this orange icon it says device found, device Snubs' iPhone is in range. And then as you leave the range of the Bluetooth BT Prox program, it'll turn red and then it'll say Snubs' iPhone has left the proximity. And it'll eventually lock after a minute. So if you have a rubber ducky or somebody that you know has a rubber ducky, this might not be a very good program because a rubber ducky can run in less than a minute and you could probably get owned, reverse shelled or what have you. And there's also a version for Linux though. Now this Linux version is called Blue Proximity. It's not the same program exactly, but this version will actually give you a choice. So you can change your proximity range from say 30 feet to 1 foot or 5 feet, whatever you want. So I actually think that the Linux version would be a lot more helpful, especially in a secure environment. So, what do you think? Email me over at feedback@hak5.org, or you can comment in the section below. Coming up soon, we'll be answering your viewer questions, but first, let's take a break and then check in with Darren for the Nibble. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. Be sure to watch the new episodes of The Ben Heck Show every 2 weeks right here at revision3.com/tbhs. Are you tired of lugging stuff around airports? I know I am. In the latest episode, Ben builds the robot luggage with the help of Jesse Robinson. Go to element14.com/tbhs to find out how you can enter to win Ben's latest build from the show. Wait a minute. I'm not Darren. Well, anyway, I have a nibble for you guys this week. This one comes from Fillion. He sent in the Windows 7 Logon Background Changer, and it's super easy to use. You just go over to the link in the show notes that I have down here, and you click download, and you download this cute little program. Let me open it for you real quick. All right, so this is the Windows 7 Logon Background Changer. You can change the settings up at the top so that other people can't log on and change the background as well. It could just be you, the administrator. You can also go over here and choose a folder if you don't like all the ones that they have built in at the bottom. Rainbows and butterflies and crazy, creepy cartoon characters that are built into Windows 7. I don't know about all that stuff. So I chose a different folder. I'm going to use my cat. And I can choose a picture. Oh, I really like that one. So I can set it as a logon background of my cat. Click apply. It says please wait. The background wallpaper is being applied. And when it's finished, you can log off and check out your brand new background. So thank you, Fillion, for sending in this nibble this week for myself. And you can always send in your nibbles and maybe possibly get some stickers sent to you from me over at hak5.org/nibble.
It's time once again to pop that box, and I'm talking about pop 3 here. So email time, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Lucas asks, I was recently watching your show and a viewer emailed in to inquire about VPN traffic for security. It was generally said that it was more secure to use a secure link. I believe the viewer termed it, which she meant VPN. Using Hamachi, I have established a pseudo VPN between my netbook and laptop so that I can remote in. I can run SSH with dynamic port forwarding, effectively establishing a SOC server, so I understand what is meant by secure connection. I I do have one query. I understand the security on the remote end, i.e., at the coffee shop.
Right, when you're at your laptop,
yeah.
wireless in, yeah.
But who's to say that it is secure on the local end, i.e. at home, and that someone isn't listening at that end? In theory, one could be tapping into your internet while sitting outside your house, but because you aren't there, you wouldn't have any idea. I recognize that it is highly unlikely, supposing you have a direct and wired connection to your ISP, hopefully, and segmented wireless access and proper security, but who at home actually does that?
Well,
that's a good question.
Yes, I mean, really, this conversation is about trust. And so there was actually a slide in my South by Southwest talk about, about how like when people connect to the pineapple, and the way I worded it was just so that people would kind of like think about this. And I said, just like your internet service provider at home, I am now your gateway to the internet. So I can eavesdrop. And then the noodling is like,
you're the man in
oh
the middle.
wait, well, guess who else is the man in the middle?
Who?
Comcast, Time Warner, Cox, AT&T, you name it. Like,
and they're throttling up the butt when you're doing.
Well, they don't. Well, you would. That's the thing is, it's like some big nameless corporation. When it's like a hacker sniffing your stuff, like suddenly, you are specifically being targeted, or maybe I'm just targeting 20 noobs at the coffee shop, but I'm not an internet service provider in the traditional means.
Right.
And those nameless corporations, you kind of just figure, well, those guys, there's enough, people there running the knock and stuff that if somebody were to be doing something, they would get caught, or they would be against it's probably against their policy and things of that nature. But it's again that same thing. So even if you are to do a SSH tunnel securely to home or a VPN tunnel home, you're really all you're doing is shifting where the unencrypted endpoint is.
You're shifting it back to your house.
Yeah. So like when you go down to Starbucks, your unencrypted endpoint is right here on your machine. You bring your own encryption, now that endpoint is at home. I actually prefer to do it at a virtual private server, but then again, what's to say that the people running your virtual private servers aren't sniffing the output? And you're right. And unfortunately, this is going to be the case no matter where you put your traffic. Wetopia, I don't know if they're run by the government. I just use them to watch the BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
Viper VPN is another one. It's the same thing with like Tor exit nodes. I mean, how many Tor exit nodes are being run by the NSA?
That's a good question.
I know, right? And at least with those, there's enough of them distributed that you're not always going out the same exit node. So
you're always changing it around. So are you anonymous whenever you're doing that kind of stuff, since you're on Tor?
Not that anonymous, but yeah.
Okay.
And so there's no real good answer there in the sense that eventually, for most traffic that is, you're going to have to come out unencrypted at some point. And it's not like you could have a VPN directly to Twitter and a VPN to Facebook and a VPN to all of those things, and then directly right into their, server rooms and into their databases and having the stuff.
Oh, if only.
Well, that would be a nightmare. I mean, that's the idea with HTTPS or TLS. That's the idea is like, oh, I go to HTTPS, Twitter, and then there's SSL sniff and SSL strip and things of that nature to have fun with those connections. But that is something that's easy to do. You can type it into your address bar, and that's why like the major media is always like, oh, look for the S in the address bar, and then you're secure. Well, that's one layer of security. Yeah. A VPN helps, when you're a target for, like I can stalk you and find you at a coffee shop and sniff your stuff there. I'm probably not going to break into your internet service provider at Comcast or whatever and sniff you at the trunk. That's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
So it's really just a matter of trust. I get super paranoid.
See, I'm not that paranoid.
This is really like, this right here is a conversation about, trust and paranoia, hacking, and what you do to protect yourself, and what's your comfort level. And so I really, really want to hear you guys' feedback. I know I say I throw it out there all the time, but really this is a conversation that, it's been going on for forever. Or if it hasn't, it really should be, because it's just about like, where do you put your packets?
Inherent trust.
Yeah, we love to violate it just because, there's always like in between different nodes, there's always, there has to be at some point in time an inherent trust. And, for a lot of people, that's their home connection. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, me too, most of the time.
So anyway, yes, feedback at hak5.org, or hit us up on the forums. We'll be chatting. And IRC, I'm on Freenode and IRC.hak5. So.
irc.hak5.org?
Yep.
Is that the web interface?
That's the, no, I don't know if they have a web interface one. If you go to hak5.org and click chat, you'll find it. Anyway.
Oh, so it is there.
There you go.
All right, cool.
Yes. So, what do we do now?
We go to an ad.
Oh, well, we're going to take a break then. So, you do that, and I'm going to go disconnect my cable modem.
Netflix streams TV episodes and movies directly to your home, saving you time and money. Instantly watch unlimited TV episodes and movies streaming directly to your PC, your Mac, or right to your TV with your PS3, Xbox 360, or Nintendo Wii console. For a limited time, get your free trial membership. Go to netflix.com/hak5 and sign up now. Netflix is now available in the UK and Ireland. Our viewers over there can get the same free trial as in the US. Just check out netflix.co.uk/hak5 or netflix.ie/hak5.
It's time once again for the part of the show where we read your emails and extract the JPEGs and then hand them over to Paul and say, Paul, put up the JPEG. What is it of?
Skunkworks sent us a photo of his rad setup with 8 monitors. 8 monitors.
That's K-Rad. That's hard to do.
Okay, so tell me this. Why do you need 8 monitors other than obviously a flight simulator? But what
Hello.
else?
One for every application you could ever possibly run. Ooh, Matrix wallpaper. Paul, come on, back me up here.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's a really good
Paul's
point.
got 3 monitors. I at one point rocked
awesome.
4. We built a crazy rig that had 8.
See, I just do 2, and that's
really hard to
perfectly
do.
fine for me.
They say there's diminishing return after 2.
Ah.
I say you need that center one, or else your crosshair is going to be between 2, and then how are you supposed to get headshots? I mean, really, people.
Oh, I just use one of my monitors for Skyrim, but that's just me.
Really?
Yeah, I
oh,
just
you
use
Skyrim
one.
on the PC.
Yeah.
That must be such a different experience.
It's awesome.
All right. Well,
anyway,
before
you
we
can
get
send your
way off track.
photos over to feedback@hak5.org. Subject line Technolist. Make it easier for us to find them.
Yeah, we grep through all the time.
I totally went through all the feedback emails yesterday. So proud of myself.
Yes.
I didn't answer
It's something
all of
that we
them,
can't answer all of them, but we do read them all. All right, let's talk about last week's trivia question, because it was a good one.
Last week's trivia question was, the default player skin in Minecraft is nicknamed what?
What is it?
Steve.
Oh.
For reals.
Yeah?
Yeah, apparently his name is Steve.
Did you see the Lego Minecraft? Dude.
Wait, what logo?
It looks wicked.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Let's give
okay.
Paul more work. Paul, throw it up.
This week's question is, NFC support, near-field communication, was introduced in what version of Android?
The Raspberry Pi.
No, but I really want to get one on the show.
Chocolate Mousse.
Not yet. We're
Key lime pie.
Are we on? No, we're not at key lime pie.
Pecan Sandies.
They're still talking about that one. What?
Pecan
Zebras.
Sandies.
Ho-hos. Swiss cake rolls. Yum. Okay, answer the question over at hak5.org/trivia for a chance to win some swag. Awesome.
Yes, and of course, you know that you can find us at hak5.org/follow. That's where all the places you can do the social stuff.
Deliciously social. And you can go over to HackShop, hakshop.com, and check out all of our cool goodies.
Oh, we have a new floppy dongle manipulator there.
What?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's for manipulating dongles, and it's all.
Oh, this guy. And
yeah.
you know what's awesome about this for
get
me, because I ship them all,
Yeah.
is it's like incredibly unbreakable.
Yeah, it's so durable. I love
know.
this thing, and a lot of
It's
the other
awesome.
ones like only go certain
I was
directions.
like,
This guy's like 360 in every axis.
Yeah,
and
so I can ship it in.
I've got like
all
3 of them
it's
on my
great.
desk, and I've like been building stuff with them because yeah. Anyway, it's a floppy dongle manipulator for when your dongle's not pointed the right direction.
Okay. You can also check out the hack tips, HAK tips.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week. I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morris.
Trust your Technolist.
I need a
Dongle! Dongle! Dongle, 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 dongle!
Flip your dongle at me.
Ow, sorry.
It's okay.
After the break? No, we just had a break. So let's do it now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Blooper! Checking the email. Double blooper, what does it mean?